Chapter 4: The Centaurians. For quite a long time, Earthlings thought the only habitable planet in the Alpha Centauri system was Proxima-b. They perceived that finding a form of life on any other planet within its system was inconceivable. That I found documented by Earthlings themselves in their latest conducted studies, soon before their imminent doom. The truth was, anyway, much more different. Alpha Centauri-Bc, an insignificant planet orbiting the neighbouring binary star, Alpha Centauri-Ab, incubated life, and its people, the Centaurians, developed a very advanced civilization that was prehistoric and older enough than anyone could relate. The Centaurians even existed almost as long as the Proximals ever did, as many of the latter regarded. In Proxima-b, archives of history and records spoke of uncountable wars that dated back to ancient times, thousands and thousands of years before. Prevalent quotes like "Centaurians and Proximals were always rivals" were widespread among historians in numerous citations. None of them, however, shed light upon the very first war they ever fought. No one ever recorded or exposed the reason behind such malignity. Yet everyone was confident that this enmity was rooted back to the very days of old, with all the resentment and antagonism it carried. How or why did it begin? Nobody could tell. These endless battles have always been with no remarkable gains for any party, only losses. Many losses on both sides. Amongst all these records, one could find a few pages with mini-articles speaking of distinguished times of peace. Times in which rulers, in their attempts to spare lives, aimed at reaching agreements to cease the fire, endowing themselves and their people with a time of prosperity. But sadly, these days never lasted. There was never an honest determination to wind up the war, nor was anyone ever able to declare who was the winner or who was the loser. We savvied. War was eternal damnation. All 5 existing nations on Proxima-b announced that the latest global war that had broken out between them was a vicious plot. Centaurians provoked, encouraged, and at times financed those embroiled, sometimes through their agents, others through arms dealers, who kept the bloodbath running by maintaining their unlimited weapon supplies. Militias penetrated and fought alongside all the confronting armies, using these weapons made by Centaurians, with no apparent chosen side. Their aim was only to keep the war going. After that global war ended, the rulers of the new government executed all the traitors. Among them were agents, magnates who funded the war, and celebrities who promoted it with irresponsible or sometimes paid statements, and many other additional characters who played conspicuous and remarkable roles in intensifying and deepening the dispute. But worst of all were the ones who fled. Those who escaped Proxima-b before the government acquired control of its grip on the reins of power and took over the ultimate authority. Those were our scientists who approached the Centaurians, apprising them with the latest and most compelling technologies, discoveries, and expansion schemes of Proximals. In return, they sought ultimate and utmost protection from the Centaurians, who provided sanctuary on their lands, away from our reach and our authorities. Together they formed a coalition and a collaboration determined to defeat the Proximals by fulfilling their objectives and dreams to be the first to reach and colonise planet Earth. Proximals, despite all their problems after the war and all the reformation they were going through, never ignored or forgot about this treason, because for them, scientists were the most respectable and trusted people on the entire planet. For them, they could forgive everyone else but those. Since then, the government in Proxima-b has come out with some stringent legislation concerning the planet Earth. Disclosing any fateful information or further scientific discoveries about it over the media or any open public summits was a national security breach that deserved an accusation of felony ever since. The government viewed that the heretofore divulged information about Earth was enough for the public, providing inexhaustible material for the media to consume for long periods to follow. Any conducted studies, late research, or risen theories were bound in secrecy, away from the public and even less ranked personnel in the government, for fear of losing more valuable knowledge to the Centaurians. Proximals believed they were already negligent with the subject when they failed to catch the renegades before defecting their home planet. That incident invigorated some to form covert societies and committees to include and adopt all the people with a determined interest in the subject. Its purpose was to manage their debates and discussions in a more controlled, unpenetrated environment, Being a member of such was the most honourable recognition one could gain. The government established a commensurate agency that disclosed its intentions to launch the project X-PECT, to which they would assign all pertinent studies and plans that involved Earth. Thus, the members of the erstwhile societies, using their clout, nominated fellow members, restricting any non-member from joining or taking part in such a project. This strategy maintained its classified nature and allowed a few selected persons to know about it, and these were the trustees with full access to all restricted data, old and new ones.